Hello, and welcome to this Latino Summer Institute presentation on the study of Hispanic contributions, ELA teacher resources for inclusive classrooms. The topics and strategies discussed in this year's Institute will be conducive to the development of an equitable learning experience for our Hispanic Latino students, which will help to increase their academic achievement. The infusion of Hispanic Latino history is an imperative part of creating a culturally relevant curriculum, which is important to the academic success of all students. The goal of the annual Summer Institute is to help increase cultural competence among district personnel and assist in the development of culturally responsive instruction and curriculum. Now let's begin with the study of Hispanic Latino culture. This is a quote by Crystal Kuykendall, Director of NABSE. Culture determines how children perceive life and their relationship to the world. Because culture also influences how and what children learn, educators can use culture to improve self-image and achievement. This quote especially resonates with our overarching goal as our student population is represented by a multitude of cultures, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Hispanics and Latinos are the largest minority group in the United States today. As we examine the Palm Beach County School District demographic data, you'll notice that Hispanic students make up roughly 36% of the student population. Now let's examine a few definitions that you may hear throughout this presentation. Students of Hispanic Latino origins include any student who identifies as either Hispanic, someone who or whose ancestry is from Spain, or Latino, someone who is from Latin America. This also includes people from the Caribbean, places such as Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and the West Indies. Afro-Latino Americans, or Black Latin Americans, are Latin Americans of significant or mainly African ancestry. The indigenous people compose roughly 9% of the population, and Afro-Latinos, people of African descent, compose roughly 25% of the population. America's diversity has always been one of our nation's greatest strengths. Hispanic Latino Americans have long played an integral role in America's culture, heritage, and the building of this nation. Not only embracing America and its culture, but also bringing their own traditions, language, value, work ethic, and ideals to the nation's cultural framework. On your screen, you'll see individuals such as Ellen Ochoa, the first female Hispanic astronaut, labor leader and civil rights activist Cesar Chavez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a United States representative, author Julia Alvarez, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and musician Richie Valens, and actor Lin-Manuel Miranda. Each year, Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries such as Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16th and September 18th, respectively. The National Hispanic Heritage Month web portal is a collaborative project of the Library of Congress and the National Endowment for the Humanities, National Gallery of Art, National Park Service, Smithsonian Institute, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, and U.S. National Park Archives and Records Administration. Under the For Teachers tab on this site, you will find the Excitement Teacher's Guide, which brings together resources created during the National Endowment for Humanities summer seminars and institutes. You'll find lesson plans for K-12 classrooms and think pieces on events and experiences across Hispanic heritage and history. The Excitement portal includes lesson plans with guiding questions, learning objectives, backgrounds, standards, preparation, activities, assessment, extensions, and reference websites. Here are a few sample middle school lessons that you'll find. In addition to K-12 lessons for Hispanic history and culture, literature and language arts, and hyperlinked lessons for both grades 6 through 8 and 9 through 12. Now that we've discussed culture, we'll dive into the ways in which an inclusive ELA classroom can be fostered. The number one recommended best practice to improve student data, both achievement and connectedness, is to provide an inclusive multicultural classroom where students see themselves, feel included in the curriculum, and are given the ability to think critically about topics like race, class, gender, and sexuality. So, what are inclusive classrooms? What do they look like? Well, inclusive and positive literacy classroom climates exist when experiences and contributions are equitably shared and acknowledged. No student is marginalized, minimized, or excluded. All students feel valued. And the intellectual, social, emotional, and physical aspects of the class are mindfully considered. Now let's talk about what this looks like in practice. Inclusive and positive classroom climates are intellectual. They provide engaging, organized, and challenging materials and activities that are highly representative of the discipline. Students receive frequent constructive feedback on their work. They are emotional. They value all student backgrounds and experiences and provide clear behavioral expectations and consistently demonstrate instructor accessibility, maintaining respectful, engaging classroom interactions. They are also social. They deal with problematic classroom interactions immediately. And last but not least, they are physical, ensuring that all students can access the course content in an equitable manner. Classroom activities are formatted in a way that enhances learning and reduces distractions. Students need mirrors that allow them to see themselves and their experiences. They need windows that they can look through to see other worlds that they can compare to their own, and sliding glass doors that allow them to enter other worlds. Let's take a moment to reflect. What does your ideal curriculum look like? Now we'd like for you to reflect on why representation in curriculum is important. Let's take a minute and review the infographic on your screen. These images illustrate the percentage of books depicting characters from diverse backgrounds based on the 2015 and 2018 publishing statistics compiled by the Cooperative Children's Book Center, School of Education at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The CCBC inventory includes over 3,000 published books. A few things you may notice as we examine these images and the differences between 2015 and 18 are the mirrors and their shapes, sizes, and placements. You'll notice gender representation is shifting. You'll also notice the disparity of each percentage of cultural representation in books. Core curriculum should include frequent and high-quality content relevant to students of Hispanic Latino descent. This includes the contributions and positive viewpoints of Hispanics and Latinos that are free of stereotypes, as well as exposing students to the diversity of Hispanic Latino culture, recognizing the language of the Hispanic Latino culture, uses culturally appropriate language, includes appropriate and balanced visual representations, as well as material from the Hispanic Latino perspective and accurate facts, and is also relevant to students. Any examples of literature, texts, stories, materials, and images should expose students to the diversity of the people and languages of Hispanic and Latino culture, including people from the Caribbean, the indigenous people, Afro Latinos, Iberian, and Asian.
The mandatory reporting of Florida Statute 1003.42 is designed to ensure student representation in the curriculum. The infusion of Latino history and the representation of Latino cultures in curriculum is vital to the academic success of students. The district supports improvement of academic achievement for all students and ensures adherence to Florida Statute 1003.42. Florida Statute 1003.42 states members of the instructional staff of the public schools, subject to the rules of the State Board of Education and the District School Board, shall teach efficiently and faithfully, using the books and materials required that meet the highest standards for professionalism and historic accuracy, following the prescribed courses of study, and employing approved methods of instruction. This includes the study of Hispanic contributions to the United States. In addition to facilitating curricular content, our staff works with schools to improve the instructional or school climate for Latino students throughout the district. While the statute lays out 20 subsections, the district has committed to ensuring instruction in the following 5 statutes through secondary ELA courses: the history of the Holocaust, the history and contributions of African Americans, including the history of African peoples before the development of slavery, the study of Hispanic contributions to the United States, the study of women's contributions to the United States, and character development. The study of Hispanic contributions to the United States can be found in the following cycles for each grade level: Grade 6, cycles 1, 2, and 5, Grade 7, cycles 1 and 3, Grade 8, cycles 1, 5, and 6, Grade 9, cycles 1, 2, and 5, Grade 10, cycles 1, 5, and 6, Grade 11, cycles 1 and 2, and Grade 12, cycles 1 and 2. Teachers may also incorporate the study of women's contributions by highlighting Hispanic, Latino women into lessons and activities. The study of women's contributions to the United States can be found in the following cycles for each grade level: Grade 6, cycles 2, 4, and 5, Grade 7, cycles 1, 2, 4, 3, and 4, Grade 8, cycles 2, 3, and 5, Grade 9, cycles 2 and 4, Grade 10, cycles 2, 4, and 6, Grade 11, cycles 3 and 5, and Grade 12, cycles 1, 2, 4, and 5. Each scope includes an embedded slide deck that lays out Florida Statute 1003.42 subsection coverage by grade and cycle for planning purposes. Using this resource, shown on the slide, teachers and administrators can quickly determine where the district provided ELA curriculum addresses Florida Statute 1003.42, subsections G, H, P, Q, and S across the instructional cycles in grades 6 through 12. By following the scopes and pacing guides, teachers can find district-suggested text and materials that support these 5 subsections of Florida Statute 1003.42. Text addressing the statute subsections are called out in the pacing guides with a label and are also color coded in blue and denoted with an asterisk, in addition to the specific standard or statute subsections being addressed with the selection. Additionally, teachers will find within each course scope a link to tables that note coverage of Florida Statute 1003.42 subsections by grade and cycle if they wish to find a quick reference guide to cover over the course of the curriculum. Now we'll share a few secondary ELA resources for grades 6 through 12. English language support is integrated throughout HMH collections and includes a variety of resources that help students to master linguistic skills needed to access core content. Integrated English language support resources include a guide to English for newcomers. The guide contains listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, essential English grammar, and survival vocabulary. Each lesson contains a detailed lesson plan with prompts and tips for the instructor, word drills to ensure proper pronunciation, a language blast for fast acquisition of Tier 1 vocabulary, an array of worksheets to focus on Tier 1 vocabulary, other lesson vocabulary, lesson grammar, and reading and listening comprehension, paired speaking exercises simulating real life situations, grammar and vocabulary reinforcement activities allowing for student response, and a reading application to promote independent practice of the lesson material. In grade 6, students read a short story, a poem, and an article. In grade 7, students read a short story, a poem, and an article. In grade 8, students read an article, a personal essay, a poem, and an interview. In grade 9, students read a poem and 2 short stories. In grade 10, students read a short story and 2 poems. In grade 11, students read a short story and an argument. In grade 12, students read an article and an interview. The School District of Palm Beach County's website contains a Latino Studies page. This page includes various instructional resources that teachers may find useful in planning instruction. Also provided on the Latino Studies page is a suggested reading list for middle school, as pictured on your screen. The Latino Studies page features a suggested reading list for high school as well. Please join the Secondary African American, Latinx, Caribbean Studies Google Classroom for great information and resources. Thank you for joining us for this Latino Summer Institute presentation on the study of Hispanic contributions, ELA teacher resources for inclusive classrooms.